We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with 10th National Assembly. APC disowns principal officers named by Akpabio. Abbas, the writer says, as governors pledge loyalty to party leadership. Akpabio announces Bamidele Senate leader, Umai Deputy Ndume, Chief Whip, Ashiru Deputy Whip. Ngi, Dixon, Alero, Tambuwa dropped. Akpabio asked lawmakers to focus on what brought them to Senate, support Tinubu in stabilizing Nigeria. I never knew there were signings. Nobody called me, nobody informed me, not even an SMS, says Senator Musa. We will constitute special standing committees before end of July. That's coming from Senate leader. Abbas names Nyombere majority leader, Chinda minority leader, as PDP, LP, NMPP shares other minority positions. APC governors NWC meets. We can see a photo story showing that Obey seat at home, face closure. Enugu government tells traders, businesses. Alleged anti-party activities. Court okays ex-governor Goje's expulsion from APC. On page 9, 2023 polls, INEC engages 427 lawyers to prosecute 215 electoral offenders. Stories above: alleged 1 billion naira fraud. Court remands ex-governor Ganduje as a commissioner. UTME controversy, we're probing Mmesoma's results. JAMB Anambra Govt. You can see that on page 7. INEC calls one witness, closes defense in Obi's case against Tinubu's election. Presidential Tribunal, Tinubu tenders 17 exhibits to defend his election victory. And on page 19, inflation, prices of beef yam up 24.9%, 22.8%, and that's coming from National Bureau of Statistics. All right, moving on, let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with presidency, governors backed by Bamidele Ndume Umahi. The writer says critical stakeholders consulted, says Senate leader, how majority minority principal officers were picked. President's policy excites Bank of America. Stories above, INET set to file charges against Adama Rek. Action to happen in days. Zulum buys 80 luxury buses to ease transport costs. Row deepens over alleged fake JAM results. IG Egbetokun deploys 35 police commissioners. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, Tinubu's witnesses begin oral testimony at tribunal. The writer says 14 documents comprising US letter on APC candidates admitted in evidence. All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with Tinubu Adamu's Cold War worsens as Akpabio Abbas appoints principal officers. Over 400 Kuje escapees yet to be captured 1 year after prison break. Kano anti-graft panel probes Ganduje dollar clip, 1 billion naira fraud. Horiwa accuses JAM of violating Mmesoma's rights, wants management probed. Stories above. Tinubu Shetima open defense today in Obi LP's petition. You can see that on page 3. Imperative of separating AGF from Justice Ministry. Pandev Horiwa others score the Guardian high at 40. Moving on, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with principal officers, APC protest selection. National Assembly members back Akpabio Abbas. The writer says selecting Bamidele Ndume Umahi as National Assembly leaders a rumor. Adamu declares. Senators rep support Senate President Speaker, says NWC aware of selection. Customs sees 3 billion naira smuggled rice, arrest 344 smugglers. Slain UI Dawn buried amid tears. Cleric condemned killers. Stories above. Tribunal Tinubu tenders Chicago Varsity admission letter. Others. Investors suffer 671 billion naira one-day loss as equity tumble. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, Beavers, APC kicks as opposition fought INEC 98% success claim. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining, still today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. And we're moving on to our stories for the day. Our correspondent, Miza Ajayi, will be telling us more about APC disowns principal officers named by Akpabio and Abbas. Miza, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, tell us more on that report.
Well, yesterday, a lot of people expected that the National Assembly, presiding officers of the National Assembly, were going to name the principal officers. And of course, that was what happened at the Senate and at the House of Representatives. But curiously, the party had scheduled a meeting with governors. That's the ruling party, APC, had scheduled a meeting with its governors for that same yesterday to intimate them on certain developments in the party and also talk about the forthcoming National Executive Committee meeting and National Caucus meeting as well. It was at the meeting that the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamo, disclaimed the events of yesterday at the National Assembly, saying that the party had no hand in it. Of course, those positions, the majority leader position, or let's say the principal officer positions are for the parties, the ruling party, and of course the minority parties. They have their own minority leader, minority whip, and all that. So Adamo was saying that in line with tradition, the party ought to have communicated its decision to the National Assembly presiding officers, and that the party was still in the process of deliberations, that the APC was yet to communicate its decisions, its decision on nominees to the Senate leadership and of course to the House leadership, and that those who were announced as majority leaders, majority whip, chief whip, that wasn't the decision of the party. So essentially, that was what happened. So the question will now be, where did the Senate President and the House Speaker, where did they get the letter, maybe that they read at plenary? Where did the letters emanate from? Obviously not from the party, as Adamo had said.
Hmm. All right, let's move on to this UTME controversy. And I mean, it's been something that's been going on since on Monday, of where JAM had initially come out to just, raise the alarm about someone suspecting people who came out to start to say that they got some exam result that they didn't get. On all of a sudden, you bounced back to a girl, Mmesoma, and then she's been, talking. There's been this back and forth with Jam. Can you tell us more on that story?
Well, I've seen reports putting the girl's age at 15 and another report, I think, at 19. I don't really know the age, but the results she tendered does not have the same design with what obtains at JAM. That's the result from JAM. So there could have been issues. Maybe somebody will have scammed her or something. I can't. But what I know is that what she tendered is different from what JAM issues as its result slips. So it is different. But that said, the way JAM also handled it, knowing that you are dealing with a minor, the way they handled it, brandishing her pictures and everywhere, it was also it leaves much to be desired, because if you look at the Koremadu case in the UK authorities protected the boy in question. I've forgotten his name now. Protected that boy in question, even from the media. But in this case here, so whether the girl has committed, we don't even know if she committed any crime or whether somebody somewhere tried to scam her. I don't know. Even if a crime had been committed, for the fact that she's a minor, there was a way that I think JAM should have handled it. But again, JAM also have to look at its own processes. That there has been a fake app on Google Play Store, JAM Phone Maker, something like that. That has been existing for more than 1 year, and JAM has not been able to raise alarm about that or even trace the origin of that app that some people use to doctor JAM results. I think it is something that we should also be querying JAMB for.
All right. Of course, you got the report that JAM has suspended her for writing the UTME for 3 years. Now, without investigating the issue, and do you think that this was a better approach from the examination body in handling this issue?
Well, I don't know what their rules or regulations stipulate in this kind of thing. Whether it stipulates a 3-year ban, or if it was just an arbitrary decision by the JAMB registrar. So I only know what their rules actually stipulate, because I don't cover education. But having said that, this Mmesoma case has revealed a lot of other cases. People have come up with evidences that in the past, as recent as last year, then 2021, that they wrote JAMB, and then the first result they got was different from the second result they got, while they also attempted to log into the JAMB portal, and they got 2 different results. So it means that there are issues at that JAMB. Of course, it's in this country that somebody in JAMB some years back said snake swallowed about 6 million naira. There are issues at JAMB, so it is for them to now look inwards and see how they can come. It's not like the registrar said, it is not just this lady that is involved in it. There are so many other cases. So my concern is that why single out the lady? Why single out the girl? The way they've protected others because they are minors, they should also have protected this girl too. They could have gone ahead with their investigations without actually coming to the public, without even involving the DSS. Because what is the DSS going to do? The DSS is still going to be relying on the JAMB portal, relying on documents from JAMB to probe the issue. So what JAMB has done now, if they had done this investigation without subjecting the girl to media trial, and then later after some days the issue now comes out, you'll discover that a lot of Nigerians will have had sympathy for JAMB. But the way they've handled the issue now, because of this distrust between the people and the government, this usual distrust between the people and the government, the way JAMB has handled the issue now, they've even whipped up a lot of sympathy for the little girl, irrespective of whether she's guilty or not.
Could it be that the reason why JAMB came out was because, Innocent was actually promised the girl scholarship and they wanted to just probe further?
Well, the holdings have still come out to the media. What they ought to have done was to have concluded their investigations first, not doing a media trial and then now telling Nigerians that you are conducting investigations. Conclude the investigations first before you come out. But already you have declared somebody guilty, and then you said you are conducting an investigation. It's like putting the cart before the horse. That is where the issue is.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Umiza Ajayi, for that report. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And moving on, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has said that the price of beef and yam rose up by 24.9%. Telling us more on that report is Elizabeth Adegbeson.
Yeah, the National Bureau of Statistics makes price foodstuff report for May, said that the prices of beef and yam both went up by 24.9% and 20.2% respectively in the month of May, year-on-year. That's a year-on-year growth. So the prices of tomato too also increased by 140% in June. That was for June. And the market women, they are complaining that the prices have been on the increase due to farmers' inability to access their farms, and also the scarcity of the product, because tomato is being grown from December to March and harvested during April, May, June. But now the commodity is scarce and has led to an increase, a 140% increase within 4 months, from February to June. And the National Bureau of Statistics also said other things, the price of other things also increased, apart from yam, apart from beef. We have rice, price of rice also increased, and also the prices of oil and onion. So we are hoping that in the next month, which is in August, we'll see a reduction in price because I believe that will be the harvest season for tomato, the reduction in tomato, and also for yam because that will be the season for harvesting yam, new yam. That is all for now.
All right, looking at the removal of fuel subsidy and the floating forex that's been going on of late, don't you think even if we have lots of tomato will come out, it would still affect the prices?
That is for logistics and the prices of transport fare has increased, yes, due to subsidy removal, yes, but um, because the main effect of the increase in the prices of tomatoes, increase in the prices of yam and all that, is mainly because this is not their season. But that of tomato, I believe it will still reduce from this 90,000 naira and 70,000 naira, depending on the size of the basket, by August, even with the effect of the removal of the foreign subsidy. I think so. But by then, there will be more harvesting and people will benefit from such. At least the price would reduce. It reduce a lot, not to the side. Before we have a basket of tomatoes at 30,000, now which is now 70,000. If you look at the increase, it's very, very, very large. So I don't think for a subsidy will affect such commodity like tomatoes because they have their own season. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Elizabeth Adegbeston, for that report.
Welcome.
Also, moving on, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mr. is speaking, says, I know prices of commodities have skyrocketed, but why don't you look for places where prices are reasonable? And Mrs. says, which means meals in this house become reasonable too. Well, Elizabeth told us to be very hopeful come next month. So let's see if the prices become reasonable by then. All right, that's what we can take on today in the news this morning. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out update stories, go to our website www.vanguardngr.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.